There's a lot of talk about how Lamar Jackson has no more excuses not to win the Super Bowl anymore with the God squad that the Ravens have assembled this year, when it should be John Harbaugh has no more excuses anymore for the Ravens not being able to win another Super Bowl under him, because John Harbaugh has been blessed with the most talented quarterback to ever put his hands on a football. I keep telling you guys, the way Lamar throws the football is Tom Brady-like. And the way he toasts that rock is like prime Barry Sanders. And yet John Harbaugh continuously fails Lamar in the playoffs because he allows the Ravens to be their biggest enemy. The only thing that has stopped the Ravens from winning Lamar Jackson the Super Bowl that he so much deserves is that the team around him always finds ways to fail him. If it wasn't for the Mark Andrews drop 2-point conversion, the Zay Flowers fumble 2 years ago in the AFC Championship on the 1-yard line against the Kansas City Chiefs, if it wasn't for Todd Monken forgetting that he has good running backs on the roster, Lamar Jackson would have already had a Super Bowl ring on one of his 5 fingers. John Harbaugh is on the clock this year. Everybody wants to say that the Steelers need to fire Mike Tomlin for coming up short in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has put more pressure on John Harbaugh this year than what he's ever been under. And we seem to forget that the sole reason why John Harbaugh still has a job is because Lamar Jackson saved him from getting fired during his rookie season when he took over for Joe Flacco. And for the people who say that Mike Tomlin needs to get fired because he continues to come up short in the playoffs, Mike Tomlin doesn't have a Lamar at quarterback. John Harbaugh does. And when you have an elite quarterback talent, then you have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl every single season. So why isn't that John Harbaugh has been unable to get Lamar one? It's crazy to me how Lamar Jackson is the only person on the Ravens that gets blamed for this team's shortcomings in the playoffs, but John Harbaugh is able to slip and slide and juke and jive his way from criticism as if he isn't, if not more responsible for the Ravens' playoff collapses than what Lamar Jackson is. The team embodies the personality and characteristics as their head coach. The further you go in the playoffs, the more that you need elite high-level coaching to win. You want to know why the Kansas City Chiefs have continued to dominate the AFC for as long as what they have? Because they are well coached and they are buttoned up. John Harbaugh and the Ravens are the complete opposite than what the Chiefs are. When the Chiefs get in the playoffs, they don't beat themselves. They make other teams beat themselves, and they capitalize off it. And the Ravens, on the other hand, teams beat them because they capitalize off the Ravens' mistakes. So if you are saying that the Steelers need to get tired of selling for mediocrity of Mike Tomlin, then you need to hold that same energy for John Harbaugh, continuing to fail with one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever put his hands on the football. You have this generational quarterback who's like a 99 overall quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the closest thing that this league will get to a perfect quarterback in terms of throwing the football and running the football. He can do every single thing. There is no weakness in Lamar Jackson's game. So why is it that John Harbaugh hasn't been able to win with him? Don't compare Lamar to Joe Flacco. We know that if we had to choose between Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson, who everybody with a functioning brain that works halfway decent is taken, you are tanking the young legend out of Pompano every single time. The reason why Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl was because he had a team that didn't fall apart around him. You had a bunch of veterans like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. You had guys that didn't have all of these stupid self-inflicted errors, guys who are able to come through in the biggest moment. Let's not forget that overtime playoff game that the Ravens won against Peyton Manning during that Super Bowl run that they had in 2012. That team showed up in crucial moments. The Ravens with Lamar, on the other hand, they don't show up in crucial moments. They go MIA when Lamar needs his team to step up the most. Lamar put the Ravens in position to beat the Buffalo Bills. But it's not as if Lamar Jackson can play pump, pass out there with the way that he gets criticized. You would think that Lamar's out there throwing the ball, throwing it to himself, playing defense. He's calling the plays too. The Ravens just forget who they are in the playoffs. If you put Mike Tomlin on the Baltimore Ravens, they would have already won a Super Bowl, because the only thing that is holding back Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh is that he doesn't have a god at quarterback like how John Harbaugh has with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he had the opportunity to get Lamar Jackson, and he passed on him for Terrell freaking Edmonds. And to this day, I would never forgive the Pittsburgh Steelers for that. I was disgusted when this team passed on Lamar Jackson for Terrell Edmonds, and I still can't get over it. Every time I see Lamar on the other sideline when the Steelers play him, I get jealous, because he should be playing in the black and gold. And I don't give a flipping F about what the Steelers do against the Ravens in a regular season, because the hell does that get Pittsburgh in the postseason? Nowhere. John Harbaugh is on the clock this year. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, the Ravens need to kick this brother to the curb, because he is holding back the greatness of Lamar Jackson. All Lamar Jackson needs is one Super Bowl to become the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. He'll be better than Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, John Elway, Joe Montana, because we've never seen a quarterback that throws the ball like Tom Brady and runs the football like he's Barry Sanders in his prime. Lamar Jackson is the perfect quarterback. If he wins a ring, he will be the greatest of all time. But he's going to have a hard time doing that when he has to overcome John Harbaugh not having this team buttoned up and ready to play come playoff time. When are the Ravens going to start holding John Harbaugh accountable for this franchise continuous shortcomings under Lamar Jackson? Because before Lamar Jackson got to Baltimore, every Ravens fan was at John Harbaugh's neck. Lamar has saved John Harbaugh, but now it's time for John Harbaugh to start carrying the load, because Lamar Jackson has been doing it all by himself. You can only win if you have elite coaching. You want to know why elite quarterbacks like Lamar can't win Super Bowls unless they have good coaching, but elite coaches can win Super Bowls with guys like Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson at quarterback? It's because elite coaches can elevate average quarterbacks, but an elite quarterback cannot elevate a team with average to slightly above average coaching, which we've seen out of Jim Harbaugh every time the Ravens get to the Super Bowl. Eventually, the Ravens are going to have to look at themselves in the mirror, and they're going to have to say, you know what? We can't continue to allow this to slide. We can't continue to allow John Harbaugh to waste a generational talent that the NFL will never see again. There are no more excuses for John Harbaugh this year. You have as stacked as a team as what you will ever have. He needs to get Lamar Jackson a Super Bowl. And if not, and the Ravens come up short once again with this team, John Harbaugh has to get fired.